Is it live? Is it going?
Yep, we're live.
Yes, it is. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to RazorwireReviews Live on a Friday night. It is just gone midnight, I guess, in the UK. Is that correct?
It is 12:15.
Yeah. And we're on the midnight shift doing some random YouTube-age stuff. Uh, Basically, the main kind of thing in this stream is we're going to talk about films we've watched recently, really. Nothing too special. Nothing like the last one we did, where we did the whole IMDb top 250 list. Anyone who's watching, I see we have two illustrious viewers right now. If you'd like to ask any questions on the Q&A app, feel free to do so, and we'll do our best to answer them. But yeah, first of all, I thought it'd be cool to talk about the Star Wars trilogy, because me and Matt have both watched the original trilogy in the past couple of weeks. Actually, we watched them kind of at the same time, because Matt had never seen them before, which was an absolute travesty. And honestly, I was kind of struggling to find kind of a reason to stay friends with him. The longer he didn't watch them, so. So first of all, I just want to throw it out to Matt. What was your kind of first experience watching Star Wars? Obviously, you've seen the prequels before, the original ones.
Yeah, I think Christmas, maybe when I was about 10 or 11, maybe, depending on when the films came out. I got the box set for The Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones
Yeah.
on VHS. It was like a little box set and it had two gold VHSs inside. It was a really nice set, actually. I remember it quite well. And yeah, I had it for about a year, and then I think one day I had off school and I just decided to stick them in. As I said, I'd never watched the originals. I've never watched the prequels before, so started to stick them in, and I really liked them. And then obviously after that, I then watched Revenge of the Sith, and I really enjoyed that as well. Uh, Obviously now I can see that Phantom Menace isn't perfect, but I do still quite like it. I really enjoy the Clone Wars, Attack of the Clones, sorry,
Yeah.
and really enjoy Revenge of the Sith. And now, obviously, we've watched the despecialized versions of Star Wars,
Yeah.
the original trilogy, and yeah, I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, because when you said you hadn't seen them and stuff, and you had the Blu-ray set at one point, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. You just never got around to watching them. I think I said to you a while ago, you should definitely watch like the original versions of the film, which it's quite interesting that you don't even know really what all the changes are now, because yeah, I got you to check out the despecialized editions, and
yeah,
I hadn't seen them either. I mean, I've seen the original versions of the film, but for anyone who doesn't know, the despecialized editions are fan versions of the film. But really, all they've done is they've just made it as true to the original film as possible, and they've gone to great lengths, like using original film elements and stuff like that, and they just look fantastic. So for me, it was the first time I'd seen the original films without all the new changes for quite a few years, I think, and the best quality I'd seen them as well. So it was really cool for me. But yeah, let's just go to Star Wars. What were your thoughts on the first film?
the first film I really enjoyed actually. I've tried to watch it before. When I had the
Mm.
Blu-ray set, actually, I tried to watch them. What I did was I watched the prequels first in the aim of watching the original trilogy over 3 days. And as soon as I finished Revenge of the Sith, I thought I'd move on to A New Hope.
Yeah.
Um, so I tried it the next day, and I think the main thing that affected me was the change from CG to practical effects, and obviously also change of characters. Um, well, not too many characters, but in fact, no characters, isn't there? I don't. I'm
Huh?
not sure. Um, but yeah, I think that really affected me when I tried to watch that. Um, so yeah, anyway, yeah, I absolutely loved it. I I think this time round, I think the first time round I tried to watch it, I found Luke quite annoying. Um, which you've said to me before, that's kind of how his character's supposed to be based in the first film, I guess. Sort of that arrogance and cockiness that well, not arrogance really, more
Just kind of
inexperienced.
just a
Uh,
teenager, really.
yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, I think that also affected my first time viewing. But I really actually thought it. after watching his performance throughout the whole film, I thought it was very well done, and yeah, I actually love the first film.
Cool. Last King of Skullboa says, "Hello, hello back," or "Hello." Anyone who has Matt on Facebook might get that at this point. Although, anyway, yeah. So Star Wars. Yeah, I've said so much about Star Wars. I love it. But for me, I enjoyed the two sequels a little bit more than the first Star Wars. But yeah, it was great seeing it without all the CGI bullshit, and it was just like, oh, this is so good. I mean, I've made a video where I talk in depth about the changes, so I won't go too much into it. But yeah, moving on, Empire Strikes Back, my personal favorite film of all time. And what were your thoughts on that one?
This one I really loved, especially the love story between Leia and Han. I thought that was amazingly executed in this film. Particularly the end scenes as well, I thought were really stand out. Obviously, I'm assuming I'm allowed to say spoilers in this video.
Yeah.
I think other than me, everybody else has seen it. Well, I have now. But yeah, that end scene where they basically leaves on a cliffhanger and they're going to try and find Han, and I thought that was absolutely brilliant. And obviously, first meeting of Yoda, which, as I said to you while we were watching, I was a little bit underwhelmed with Yoda. Just because of my experiences with the prequels, I think. I thought the practical effects and everything were brilliant. I really enjoyed that aspect. It was a little bit different than my expectation for Yoda. But I did really grow to like him throughout the rest of the film. And yeah, I really like that. Luke was learning his craft from Yoda, and I thought that was very well done. And yeah, I really like that aspect of the film.
Yeah, I can see I can see where you're coming from, because like the CGI Yoda is actually really well done. I think one of my favorite things of the whole prequels. I know that on the Blu-ray they changed Yoda in Episode 1 to the CG version, which I think was a lot better because the puppet they used in Phantom Menace was just weird. But yeah, I can see why it would be jarring to you. But for me, I just love the realness of it. Just the fact that it is, you can touch him. You can tell he's real, and it's just impressive to me that Frank Oz could kind of do the voice, act as Yoda, as well as like doing all the things underneath the set and whatever. And I'm pretty sure, because like when they filmed that, the whole set was like 3 feet off the ground or something, so that Frank Oz could be underneath, and he couldn't hear Mark Hamill, so they had to have like radios and stuff, and so it was like really, really hard for them to. They were there for months. Yeah. And Mark Hamill's talking how like he's like the 3 months the call sheet was just one human, Mark Hamill. We got a comment from Thomas Pollock on the video. I saw Episode 1 in the cinema when it came back out with my friend, and we laughed so hard. Maybe it was our specific sense of humor, but we found everything laughable in it. Never really liked Phantom Menace in the first place. Jar Jar is annoying as hell. Yeah, that Jar Jar always gets a bad rap, and I can see why. I don't hate him, but I can definitely see the hate.
Yeah, I don't mind him, to be honest. I think people make him out to be a bigger character than he actually is in the film.
Yeah, good point. Last King of Skullboa says he prefers the Muppet Yoda. Yeah. Not technically a Muppet, though that'd be quite funny. It's actually really cool behind the scenes shot of Mark Hamill, Yoda, and like I think Kermit and Mrs. Piggy, something like that. Right, moving on. Return of the Jedi, the third one. What was cool for me was when we were watching it, because we're both watching it roughly around the same time. I was just thinking in my head what you'd be thinking, not knowing what was coming up, So it was like, what's he even thinking? Because of course the Death Star gets destroyed in the first film. Yeah. And you remember you saying you were surprised. And I was like,
I always thought the Death Star was the ending of the whole franchise.
Yeah.
That was mind blowing to me that it happened all in the first film. That was madness to me. Yeah. That's what I envisioned. I envisioned Luke going down in his spaceship, just blowing up, and I don't know why I thought that, but
Yeah.
That's just how I envision the whole thing ending, I suppose. That's like a massive climax to end on. So
Yeah, I think that was originally the plan, but then Lucas realized he could actually make more films when it was such a success. So yeah, that's why another Death Star was created for the third film, Return of the Jedi. I remember you saying to me, you're like, "Holy shit, another Death Star!" And I was like, "Oh yeah, of course, he didn't know, did he?" So what were your kind of, you saw Empire, you saw the first one. What were your expectations of the Return of the Jedi, the last one? What was in your head?
I think my expectations were a little bit low because I know that you favoured the second one.
Yeah,
Um, so I don't know that kind of not influenced me, but that kind of had not an effect on me either. It's weird, and because I knew that you liked the second one more,
mm,
I guess I thought that maybe the third one wouldn't be as good. But no, it turned out to be my favourite of the whole trilogy. So I absolutely loved it. That end scene, oh my god, absolutely amazing, breathtaking.
yeah,
That music, the whole battle is absolutely immense. What else to say? Again with Han and Leia, just amazing scenes together. Yoda passing away as well. I thought that was a really, emotional scene, I guess,
mm,
but great at the same time. Uh, Again, another thing that I really liked about the whole trilogy was R2 and C3PO. I just thought the chemistry between them two in these films were absolutely amazing. Some of the
yeah,
lines they cracked, absolutely brilliant. Well, obviously C3.
yeah. Yeah, it's kind of interesting then because R2 kind of talks through the other characters really.
Yeah,
When you get the beeps and stuff, and then Luke will be like, "Yeah, of course we were doing this" or whatever.
I remember thinking throughout the whole film as well. I just imagined Jay and Silent Bob.
It wouldn't
Kevin
surprise me.
Kevin Kevin Smith must have got some influence from that, surely.
Yeah, I was just
Being
about to
the
say, it
massive
wouldn't.
Star Wars fan that he is.
Yeah, yeah, they're great characters, those two. I was kind of like not disappointed, but I think there's a sequence in the episode 2, Attack of the Clones,
Yeah.
where C-3PO is going to this droid factory, and like they just made C-3PO like CGI and stuff, and it was just a bit too much for me.
Hmm.
Like, I don't know. I think they overdid it a little with that. Anyway, we're not talking about the prequels. Yeah, just seeing Return of the Jedi without the changes again was a really awesome experience for me. Like, I mean, the ending, and again, I'm sure any of the 4 people watching this have probably seen Star Wars before, but of course, the whole ending where Vader picks up the Emperor and throws him down the shaft.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, when you're watching that, you're like, Luke's getting electrocuted to death. Vader's there, he's just looking back and forth. You don't know what's going on. You can't see behind the mask, and then he just does it, and you're like, oh god. But with the change, it just kind of cuts all that tension out and just
No! From what you've told me, anyway.
it's just like yeah, terrible. So it was great to see that with the silence intact, and even
I'm
the
definitely
Ewok.
glad I watched the originals like that.
Yeah, definitely. I think I don't know, I think you still would have enjoyed them, but I think to see them in their original format is the best way to go. Um, Last King of Skullboa comes in again. I think the third one suffers because as an adult it doesn't age well. Seems a bit silly at times. But when I was 13, I don't remember finding the issues I do with it now. Yeah, I could see that there's a few goofy bits. I mean, I think I always say that Return of the Jedi lives and dies by the Ewoks. If you don't like the Ewoks, you're gonna really struggle with most of the film, I think, because there's a lot of Ewok stuff. But I find them cute. I find the whole idea great with nature taking down, or just using just traditional weapons against machinery and stuff. Just that kind of, I don't know. I can't even think of there's a better way of putting it, but you know what I mean. And yeah, that's it. Return of the Jedi, awesome, and I'm glad you enjoyed the films.
Yeah, loved them.
Anything else I can add? Yeah, the Ewok song at the end. I think that's one of the changes from the special edition. That's actually quite good. In the Return of the Jedi special edition, there's a a piece of score at the end of the film, not just the Ewok song where they're just like, you know, hitting stormtrooper helmets with sticks and stuff. And that piece of score is really good. But I still love the Ewok song. It's kind of a childhood thing. Um, yeah, I think that's it. So Star Wars trilogy, good stuff. Now we're both going to talk about just films we've watched recently, really. And anyone who's watching, if you want to throw in any questions, movie related or whatever, feel free to do so on the Q&A app. Should be a little button you can click on the video screen at the bottom. I should say be part of the conversation. Just click on that and you can ask questions. So I'll throw over to you first. What's a film that you've watched recently?
Probably the first one. These are in no particular order, it's just ones I've watched over the past couple of weeks. So, the first one, it's a film called In Darkness. It's I believe it's Polish. That's from Holland, sorry. Yeah, it's basically about set in World War II in one of the ghettos that the Jews are being held in. And it's basically about this man. He's basically a petty thief. He's just one of the citizens in the town, and he works all the sewers basically. You know, he basically runs the maintenance in the sewers. And one day he encounters Jews escaping into the sewers from the ghetto because they've basically tunneled through, and he ends up hiding them for a cost. So, you know, he basically charges them per day. So many zlotys, I think it is, the currency back then. And yeah, over time, you know, he develops a bond with these people in the sewers, and yeah, it's a very heartbreaking story. I kind of compare it to Schindler's List, maybe, in a way, I guess. But it's based on a true story anyway. It actually happened, this story, and it's very, very emotional at times, and very, very well done. It was a nominee for the Academy Awards in 2011 for Best Foreign Language Film, so it's got quite good critical acclaim, I guess. But yeah, I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I highly recommend it. And the Blu-ray was only £5 from America, so it is reaching a lot though. So very good film. I really recommend it.
Nice. Right, what shall I go with? I've been watching through all the Planet of the Apes films, roughly before Dawn came out, which I still haven't really talked about, but I absolutely love that film. So I watched most of the older ones before it came out, and then the rest of them after I'd seen Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. So Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, I'll just talk about that one briefly, which is the fourth sequel from the original. No, the third sequel, but the fourth film. And it was really, I hear kind of conflicting things about the sequels. Like some people say they're all rubbish, or some people say that, you know, certain ones are better than others and stuff. I really like Conquest. It was really kind of a dystopian future, but not too futuristic. But I almost don't even want to spoil too much about it for anyone who hasn't seen all the Apes films, because when I watched all of them, I didn't really know the plot to any of them. And every film is quite different, I think, which is really cool. And every film deals with like different, it has like different social commentaries to all of them, I think. And each of them makes kind of a good point about something that you can kind of look at in today's society as well. But Conquest is where the original Caesar character is first like a main character in the series, and the ending was great, but they kind of edited it because it was deemed too violent at the time, and they didn't have time to reshoot it, so it's just it's like Caesar's giving this speech, and like his face is in shot like this, and then the part where they cut off the speech and they changed it afterwards, it goes right up to his eyes, and like the film footage is all grainy because they've just cropped it, and you can tell it's been like, it's just a really bad edit. And it was like, yeah, it was good, but like it just felt odd. So I looked up on YouTube, and there's an unrated version on the Blu-ray where they put the original ending in, which is granted a lot more of a dark ending, a bit more violent, but I think is the one they should have stuck with. But anyone who hasn't seen the Planet of the Apes films, I definitely recommend watching all of them, because there's something different about each of them, and yeah, I think the Conquest is really good.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to check them out when I get the Caesar bust. But yeah, you watched them on Netflix, didn't you?
No, I downloaded the sequels. The original film, the original '68 version, is on Netflix.
Got you.
But yeah,
But yeah,
I'm gonna be getting the hopefully anyway getting the Seeds with Bust as well because I really don't own all of them on
yeah.
Blu-ray. Definitely worth it.
My turn now.
Yeah,
Yeah, cool. I think there's another one here that we both watched as well, isn't there? So we'll get onto that in a bit if you want.
yeah.
But next up we've got a film called Sophie's Skull, which is again another true story. Basically about a French, I think she's French, no, she's German, sorry, German revolutionist. She's basically spreading propaganda to make people stop basically supporting the Nazis. This is when they're in power during the war, and she's basically printing leaflets and handing them around colleges and stuff like that, to try and provoke young minds to not be influenced by Hitler's regime.
Hmm.
And basically, she gets caught with her brother, and they interrogate her, and it's just basically about her whole interrogation and things like that. She gets arrested pretty much within the first 10-20 minutes of the film, and it's just basically about telling her story and why she's in there and talking to different Nazis about why she's doing all this stuff and things like that. And it's a very compelling film. It's another true story, as I said. Again, it was another Academy Award nominee for Best Foreign Language Film. But yeah, it's a very inspirational story, I guess, and a very sad one as well. But yeah, it's a very good film. Really enjoyed it, and I think that's the end of my Nazi films.
Yeah, I was gonna say you've been watching quite a few.
Yeah.
I always shy away from films like that just because I know I'm not gonna like, I don't know if enjoyment's the right word to use. I mean, you can appreciate films like that for how good they are and stuff, but I think I just need an extra push to watch films like Schindler's List. I've never seen,
Yeah.
but I definitely will do at some point.
Yeah, I think it's just a history part for me. Like, I just find it fascinating, because these
Yeah.
things actually happened. It's just really hard to believe. But when you see true stories and witness accounts, things like that, I just think it's really something that people should forget, really. So I'll try to watch as much as I can, I guess.
Yeah. Got a comment from Ian Forkable. Says surely everybody wanted a pet Ewok when they saw them. I know I did. Yeah, I would love a pet Ewok. Although they're a bit, I don't know, I think they're a bit independent to have an actual pet. But it'd be fun to have them around and maybe pull out a C-3PO toy and get them to bow down to it. I love that bit, by the way. If I'm not mistaken, they think I'm some sort of god. We've got some more comments on the YouTube page. Rory, I think he's saying this. Yeah, I remember you picking up the Star Wars box set when you were with me. That's to you, Matt. And hey guys, by the way. Hey Rory, hope you're enjoying the streamage and doing well. Thomas again, I remember watching Beneath Planet of the Apes, the ending, just what? Yeah, the ending of Beneath Planet of the Apes is crazy. It's like, wow, that's it. Like, not in like not an anticlimactic way, in fact quite the opposite, but it's just a very shocking ending. Overall I thought it was a pretty boring film. I can see that, I enjoyed it though. The original though is fantastic. Yeah, the original is amazing. Gemini888, what's up guys? Big fan here. Thanks for joining the stream. And anyone, again, if you're commenting on the YouTube page, you should be able to click on the Q&A app on the bottom left of the video screen. Right, next, what we got? Okay, I'll do this one quickly. The Other Woman. This is from this year. It stars Cameron Diaz, Leslie Mann.
Oh yeah, I've heard of this.
And what's her name? Kate Upton. It's like supermodel of today, I guess. And it also stars, I don't know how to pronounce his name, the guy who plays Jaime Lannister in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I know you're about.
The Danish actor. He's basically married to Leslie Mann's character, but he just cheats on her with just like multiple women. And she keeps finding like these new women who are kind of, his mistress, and they all kind of team up basically to get back at him. It wasn't a great film, but I did enjoy it. Like, it's just one of those fun movies, you just don't take it too seriously. It got to a point where it was just like, me and my fiance watched it and we were just like, this is such a crazy plot. You got these three women just like getting drunk together and having a great time, and they're like, yeah, we're all sleeping with the same guy. but he really gets his comeuppance at the end in a hilarious fashion. Like, yeah, I wouldn't recommend it, to be honest, but it was just a fun movie to just pass a couple of hours with, I guess. I'll throw it back over to you.
Yeah, next up I watched a film called Alice by Jan van Schmeijden.
I really want to see that.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. Obviously based on the fairy tale by Carroll.
Lewis Carroll.
Lewis Carroll, was it? But yeah, it's a stop motion animation film. Obviously set with real life as well. Absolutely amazing. Obviously, I'm assuming everybody knows the story of Alice, but it's done in such an amazing way that I've never seen before, and it's just absolutely breathtaking. I mean, you have to see it really to sort of understand where I'm coming from, but the animation in this film is just absolutely mind-blowing. I've been a fan of this director's work for a while. I've seen a couple of his films, and they've all been absolutely standout to me. They're very weird, they're very surreal, sort of like a cross between David Lynch and I don't know who else. But yeah, it's very strange stuff, but it's absolutely amazing. It's definitely worth a check out as well. It's only £10 on Blu-ray. It's a very nice set as well from BFI, so well worth a check out, and you get the DVD in here as well.
Yeah, I've seen that Blu-ray in HMV for like so long, and it was always like just a little bit too expensive. Actually, I remember it went down to £10 on Amazon, and I almost got it, and then it went up again. So that movie's just kind of slipped out of my grasp quite a few times. We've got two recommendations. Well, not recommendations, but two people asking you if you've seen films. Last King of Skullboa asks you, have you seen Downfall?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I actually brought it on Blu-ray the other week. It's going to be my next huge stack of Blu-ray update.
Cool.
Yeah, very good film. Very depressing. Basically about Hitler's downfall at the end of the war when he's in his bunker.
Oh, poor Hitler.
No, that's not the depressing part. There's this scene in the film which is quite disturbing. Basically, when I won't tell you actually.
Okay.
Not that you'll ever see it, just in case any viewers haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a pretty disturbing part of the film involving some kids. But yeah, it's a very dark film, I guess. But you know, I guess it's documented quite well because I believe the woman who typed up Hitler's last speech, I guess, or his last memoirs, was actually got away from there. And I think that's how all of this came about. You know, the whole story of what happened inside. But yeah, it's a very good film to watch if you like learning about history, I guess, because I think it's pretty factually correct. So.
Cool. And then Thomas also asks, have you seen Life is Beautiful, Matt?
Again, it's another one that I've got on Blu-ray. I've only ever seen the ending, unfortunately, because
it's a good start.
Yeah, it's a major spoiler as well, and it's a very depressing ending. I think I caught it on BBC One late at night, one night years ago. But I bought the Blu-ray, and I do mean to check it out again soon. It's another concentration camp film. Involving a family, but I think it's sort of evolving around comedy a bit more, sort of finding the humour in it, I guess. Always trying to make his children happy, sort of thing throughout the whole thing, so that it's creating funny events and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that's what it's about. But yeah, I'm looking forward to checking it out. So.
Ian says, why the hell do you do these hangout things so late? Well, technically so early before one of you smart asses points that out. I don't know, just one of those things, really be a matter of kind of night owls, I think. But yeah, no real reason, I guess.
And our spouses are in bed.
Yeah, that's a good point. And Last King of Skullboa says, when are you going to add Folkable into the hangout? That'd be awesome. I'd be up for doing that right now, but...
Yep.
Ian, if you want to come in, that'd be great. Right. Oh, whose turn was it? I've forgotten.
I just did Alice, so.
Oh yeah, okay, right. Battle for the Planet of the Apes. I won't go into that one. It's the last of the original sequels, and scaled back budget. You can really tell as well, but there's some cool bits in it, and I really liked the story. Like, it was more of a smaller thing, and I actually loved it. Thought it was great. Um, I guess I'll just double up Planet of the Apes from 2001 as well, the Tim Burton film. It's actually, I think, one of the first films I owned on DVD. Have you seen it?
I haven't, no.
No. And I just didn't remember much about it except for the crazy ending. And so we watched it again, just almost like a formality because we'd seen all the other ones up to this point. And you're just kind of thinking, he wasn't really doing it right, was he? I enjoy it. I think it's an enjoyable film, but it just doesn't come close to even touching any of the themes or kind of, I don't know. It's just, yeah, it was just okay, you know. I'm trying to think. There was something while I was watching it that I thought, oh, they could have done so much better. I think it's because, and this is vaguely spoiling things if you haven't seen the original film, but the humans on the Planet of the Apes, when the original film starts, most of them don't speak, you know, and so the apes don't, you know, it's the role reversal basically. But in the Tim Burton version, they just kind of, it's not really the same. It's just kind of humans and apes, and that's it really. And Mark Wahlberg just does this for the whole film. Just one expression, one emotion for the whole film. It's just, you just can't get behind him. Really.
I'm in every film then, isn't it?
I kind of, Tim Roth, who I usually really like, I just felt like he was really hamming it up in the lead ape as well. He's just like proper going batshit all the time. It was,
How was the set design and the costumes and things like that? Because being Tim Burton, I would have thought that'd have been pretty impressive.
I almost want to say, like, you see a Tim Burton film, you're like, oh, that's a Tim Burton film. It wasn't really like that, but the set design was fantastic. Like the ape stuff, the settings and stuff, you know, all that was great.
Cool.
And there was some good stuff about it. You know, it's an enjoyable film. It just doesn't really match up to the rest of the series, I think. And the ending is just ridiculous and like, what? How did that eat? It's like they tried to outdo the original and it just ended up not really making much sense, but it's still kind of cool. But yeah, Tim Burton's Apes film, it's okay. What I did like was that there's a really cool cameo in it from someone who was in the original film, and so yeah, I won't say any more about that. So yeah, I'll turn it back to you now.
Yeah, cool. Well, the next film is one that we both watched again together again, wasn't it? Film by Fritz Lang.
Yeah.
From 1932, was it? I want to say.
Something like that. 31, maybe 33.
I think it was 33 actually.
No, 31. Yeah.
31. It's 2 years out. Yeah, Fritz Lang's M. His first spoken language film, I believe. Absolutely mind blowing. The premise was basically about, if I remember correctly, a child murderer. And there was basically this whole manhunt for this child murderer, or this child abductor. And you know, it's basically, there's this whole crime syndicate within the town as well. And the police force were having a hard time tracking him down. Eventually, the police's attention turns to the criminals. I don't know how much I can say without spoiling it.
Yeah.
I think that's as far as I want to go. But anyway, the criminals basically get involved, and it turned out to be this really amazing story that I wasn't expecting. You know, I thought everything was absolutely perfect about it, to be quite honest. I couldn't find a fault within the film whatsoever. There was actually quite a bit of humour about it, if I remember correctly, as well.
Yeah.
Which was absolutely awesome. You know, some really laugh out loud moments which I just weren't expecting. I just burst out laughing.
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty sure there wasn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was. Yeah. I wasn't sure if I was thinking about Metropolis, but yeah, I thought it was absolutely amazing, and I really can't wait to revisit this again. It's highly recommended. What's your thoughts on it, Luke?
Yeah, I loved it as well. I mean, we both watched it at the same time, and we hadn't seen it as well, so it was cool. But um, just an awesome release from Massive Cinema. Great Blu-ray, looked fantastic, and yeah, I love this bit as well. You know, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was amazing.
It was just done so well, and I love the way that kind of Fritz Lang, just one of my favorite directors. He didn't just go, okay, now I'm going to make a film that has people talking in it. He kind of went, I'm going to use silence here, and there's kind of parts where he doesn't really use background noise as much as was kind of conventional, I think. Although back then it wasn't really conventional because it was only just coming into fruition. But I don't know, do you remember that bit where the guy is like putting his hands over his ears and then all
Yeah,
the sound drops out? Just stuff like that. He
yeah,
played around with the
amazing.
sound a little and used it. Um, and Peter Lorre, who plays the murderer in the film, is just fantastic. Gives a great performance, and he doesn't really come into the film. I mean, you don't see his face for a while, and then you
Yeah,
see just one
I,
shot of
I
him.
like that element.
Yeah. So it was very well done, and Peter Lorre was just great. Yeah, I mean, Oscar-worthy performance at the end of the film, I think. And
Yeah, definitely.
but yeah, I was just like so tense. It reminded me of like a David Fincher film of today, or
Mm.
something like Prisoners. I mean, not like in terms of this. Well, I guess kids, but just the kind of manhunt, and finding out the killer, and yeah, great stuff. What I really liked was that the Inspector Loman in the film, he's in Fritz Lang's next film after M, The Testament of Dr. Mabuse, as the same character and the same actor, which is a kind of a
Oh,
weird kind of like a half sequel crossover kind of thing going on. It's a bit like what's that? Michael Keaton. And have you seen Jackie Brown?
I haven't. No.
No, he's in Jackie Brown, Quentin Tarantino film. He plays this I want to say it's Ray Nicolette or something, I think is the character name. He's like this agent in Jackie Brown. And Jackie Brown is an adaptation of a book by Elmore Leonard. And then the
Yeah.
year after was Out of Sight, film with George Clooney, Jennifer Lopez. And it's another adaptation from the same author. And so the same character appears in it, and Michael Keaton reprises the role in a weird kind of crossover thing. Reminded me of that a little bit.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, overall, M was awesome. I'll throw another one over to you and check the comments.
Next up, I watched my second Alfred Hitchcock film today, inadvertently. I was basically searching through IMDb for a film that I was going to watch tonight, Saboteur, as starting the Hitchcock collection. And I noticed at the top of the director section for Alfred Hitchcock was a documentary from, I believe it was 1945 maybe, called Memory of the Camps. It's one that I read up on after I immediately saw it, and basically it's a film documenting the war atrocities by the Nazis. So it's basically film footage from inside the concentration camps as it was being taken back from the Nazis. Well, not taken back, sorry, taken away from the Nazis, I guess. And yeah, it's really shocking footage. I mean, I've seen a lot of it before through documentaries and things like that, but it was, I read up on it after I watched it, and it basically was saying that Alfred Hitchcock didn't want to release it. He was disgusted by what he saw there. It made him physically sick. He couldn't eat for, I think, about a month after he saw the footage. I'm not sure whether he was actually there directing it, but I know he's the director of the film, so I think he was involved with quite a bit of it. But I think he did visit a few of the sites. But it's got Bergen-Belsen, um, Auschwitz, the Lotz ghetto, I think. No, not the ghetto. But yeah, there's quite a few concentration camps featured in the film. I think this is actually unrestored version. I believe this year, the actual restored version where they found some new film in the archives is coming out. So I'll probably check that out again then. I believe it's been broadcast on TV, but it was released by PBS in 1985, so I watched it on YouTube. Which is a film is just missing about 30 minutes of footage. So yeah, I'll probably check that out again when it's got the new footage and it's been. But yeah, it's a shocking film, and if if anyone's got interest in history or anything like that, I think it's an important film to see. So that's about it.
I've not heard of that one either. Like, yeah, it's quite interesting. All right, let me just look at my list, like what to go with now. All right, Guardians of the Galaxy. Did you see this? No.
No, I've been invited to see it twice at the cinema, and both times I haven't gone.
It was just absolutely terrible. I mean, I couldn't stand. No, for people going, oh my, no. This film, I'm gonna say it. Guardians of the Galaxy is overrated, but I still loved it. I mean, people are like going, oh, it was amazing. Oh, it was one of the best. I mean, not that much. I really loved it. I mean, I had a great time with it. The humor was mostly hit. A few misses here and there, but and it was different. The humor was not. I don't know. I guess it's kind of like Avengers humor, kind of turned up a little, even more. In a way. But a fun sci-fi movie. Fun superhero movie. Some great characters. I thought all five of the Guardians were just really cool. Like each was different. Each had their own little personality traits. They all mixed well together as a weird bunch of people brought together. But I kind of felt like the villain was just like, oh, okay, yep, he looks similar to a lot of villains I've seen before. Wants to, end the world. Yep, seen that before. I mean, he was played by the guy who plays Legolas's dad in the Hobbit film.
Frandir, is it?
Yeah, Lee Pace, the actor. He did a good job with what he had, but I just felt like there wasn't much substance to that villain at all. And then just some of the action as well, even some of the big base battles and stuff just seemed very samey to me. And the story as well was pretty typical. But, it was done very well. And I give it like a 8, maybe 8.5 out of 10. No, yeah, 8 out of 10, I think.
I think a villain in a superhero film is just very hard to get right anyway.
It is, yeah.
It's got to be that amount of threat against a superhero for it to be, sort of worth doing, I guess. It's got to be a lot of different things, I guess. It's got to be a major threat to the superhero at the end of the day. So, obviously I haven't seen it yet, but that's the one problem that I've heard from a lot of people, that it's the villain isn't the best. But I've heard the comedy in the film's probably the best thing about it. But
yeah, it definitely is the strongest point. And it has its fair share of cliche moments in it, but there's kind of a few moments where the characters almost reference it, which I thought was pretty cool. There's a fine line to kind of dance over, but Bradley Cooper doing Rocket Raccoon. I was sitting there, closed my eyes, just trying to imagine that voice coming out of Bradley Cooper, and I couldn't. He did such a great job. Like, you can usually tell, when an actor's kind of doing a voice for something like that. But Dave Bautista, a former WWE wrestler who I've got no time for. He's shit. He was really good. I mean, I think people are saying he was amazing. He wasn't amazing, but he did. But he really surprised me. He was pretty funny in the film. But yeah, overall, I definitely would recommend to go see it if you haven't. But I think everyone's seen it at this point. It's like a really fun movie that everyone's loving right now, and for the right reasons, I think. And the soundtrack was great because they had a sneaky little thing where the human character played by Chris Pratt kind of has a little cassette from when he was on Earth as a kid. So he's always playing all these classic 80s songs and stuff. It's a good way to get away with playing 80s music in a sci-fi movie that takes place in another galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it for me. Throwing over to you if you've still got a few more to talk about.
Well, I guess I've got one left. King of Pigs. Um, this was my first ever anime experience. I believe it's anime. Pretty sure it is. But yeah, this was a fantastic film, basically about two school kids. Actually, the film starts out with the two adults. They've basically grown up. They've lived different lives. They haven't spoken in years. One day, one of the friends receives a phone call, basically saying he wants to meet up and talk. And they meet up, and it reverses back to their childhood when they're in school, being bullied, and they just get their ass handed to them every day, basically. There's these clique of guys in the class that are basically meant to keep the kids in line in the class, because that's how it's handled within the classroom situation. Um, and basically one day when they're getting their ass handed to them, a kid at the back of the class who just sits there silently normally just gets up and kicks everyone's ass, and it basically becomes their new friend, who turns out to be quite, mentally unstable, I guess. It's very violent. It's got a very troubled life. And yeah, it's a very amazing film, to be honest. As I say, it was my first experience with anime, and I really enjoyed it. It's definitely got me wanting to check out more anime films. I can't really go more in depth in the story than that without spoiling it, so I'll just leave it there. But I thought it was absolutely brilliant. The voice actors are very well done as well. The animation I thought was absolutely brilliant. I've read some reviews saying that the animation was tacky, but I really didn't find it tacky whatsoever. I thought the animation was beautiful, and on Blu-ray it looked amazing as well, which obviously it would. But yeah, I thought it was absolutely fantastic, and highly recommend it.
Cool. Yeah, I really wanted to get the plain archive edition, but it just didn't happen. But definitely want to check it out nonetheless. It would look a really good one. I'm not really sure like what defines an anime. I just always saw it
No,
as
same
like
here.
that certain style of like Japanese animation, and I guess Asian. I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't know. I don't know if someone from the UK would make a film in that style and it would still be called an anime. I don't know what the. I'm gonna look it up right now. Why the hell not? Anime. Um,
I
Japanese
believe
anime
it's
production.
Japanese, yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, fair enough. All right then. I got still a bunch of films. I won't talk about all of them. Let's have a look. I watched Akira Kurosawa's first film. Um, Actually, I'm going to save that because I might do something about that next week on the Blu-ray Brothers channel. I'm not sure yet. Because we're doing Kurosawa week next week. Contact, 1997. Have you seen this film?
No, my wife's been bugging me to see it for ages. I haven't seen it though.
It's a great one. Jodie Foster, Matthew McConaughey. Actually, a great cast. I grew up watching it, and I don't know how I was able to sit through it as a young kid because it's so long. It's like I think 2.5 hours long, and it's a lot of build-up. It's quite a slow film, and but just watching it now for the first time in years, I just realised how great the cast was. James Woods also, Tom Skerritt, John Hurt. I never realised it was John Hurt because he's completely bald in the film, and he's got these kind of glasses on, so he looks very weird. I just never knew it was him, so I could appreciate that more now as well. But a great science fiction film directed by Robert Zemeckis, who's a great director in my opinion. Done Back to the Future, Forrest Gump, loads of other great ones. And yeah, it's just like it's a great mystery, and about life on other planets, and they basically get this message at the beginning of the film, and it's up to Jodie Foster's character to kind of decode it, find out what it means, and then also follow up on what the message is. And she's kind of not fighting against, but pushing against the government and what they want to do with this message, as opposed to what she wants to do as the scientist. And then Matthew McConaughey's character is kind of this kind of, I don't know what you'd even call him. He's kind of like specializes in spirituality and like Christianity and stuff. And so he's kind of the side of, she doesn't believe in God, but he does. And yeah,
Mm.
spirituality is brought into it and stuff, but it's the end of the film, like the whole last section, is just so cool. I think some people might be disappointed with the payoff, but I really loved it. I think it's just a great film, and as someone who loves space and the universe and all that kind of stuff, it's just one of my favorite films. Awesome.
I remember you
Um,
saying when you was watching it the other day, there's like a silent moment at the beginning of the film, and there was like some people outside doing something, and it really distracted you.
yeah, it's not really a spoiler as such, but the film opens. Wait, let me think of the order. Where does it start? It's but the film starts with, at the time, the longest CGI shot in film history. It just basically zooms out from the Earth into space, out of the solar system, out of the galaxy. Um, yeah, and it just keeps going and going and going and going and going, and then it all comes down to like a window, and then it's a window reflected in a girl's eye, and then it zooms out and we see the main character. Um, but it starts out and it's like completely silent, and me and my fiance were just sat there like, oh, this is great. And then suddenly, I can't remember what it was now, someone hammering outside or something. Or doing it, shoveling gravel, I think it was.
That was it, yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, shoveling gravel at 10 o'clock at night, brilliant, cheers. Just ruined the whole kind of mood of the. But yeah, I recommend Contact. Great film. So I guess you got nothing else to talk about then.
No, I mean,
Than
I have
just
watched
the
some other
humorous.
films, but none that I can think of right now.
Yeah.
None specifically, anyway.
Yeah. Well, we've got 3 viewers. So if any of you 3 viewers want us to talk about anything else, then get in a question now or just a comment, and we'll do that. But otherwise, that's pretty much it, really. Last King of Skullboa, he's got a few comments here. Have you guys seen this YouTube link? Hitchcock in trailer mode. Worth watching. I'll check that out afterwards, I guess. A lot of Guardians reviews have started off saying it's an instant classic, but it's not. Yeah, I don't think it's like anything too special. And sorry, this is what I've watched in the last week or so. If you have any opinion on any of these, I can't see anything you've listed, unless I'm missing a comment.
Yeah, I've got them here.
Oh, yeah? Okay, I can't see it here.
Control.
No, I've heard of it though.
I've heard of that, yeah. The Good, the Bad, and the Weird. Obviously, I know that one.
Yeah, it's a great one. I saw that in the cinema. Oh, I see it now. I see the comment now. Yeah, you keep going.
Yeah, fantastic film. Directed by Kim Ji-woon. Stars some of my favourite Korean actors, Lee Byung-hun and Sang Kong-ho. Yeah, amazing film. Basically, a Korean sort of Western film, I guess. About these 3 guys. One's a bounty hunter. One's a sort of a cop, almost, I guess, and one's a criminal, and they're all 3 are basically chasing each other, I guess. And it turns out they're actually chasing gold as well, or like this treasure map, I guess. And it ensues to be a very fun, action-packed film, and I really wasn't expecting it when I watched it. I was expecting like this cheesy sort of a martial arts film, but I really loved it. It was an amazing concept.
Yeah, I saw it in the cinema randomly with a friend of mine. So I haven't seen it since then. I think it came out in 2008, right? Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Don't know the exact
So
date.
years ago since I've seen it. Yeah. I remember that there's like a bit with an old woman in a cupboard or something, and like he's trying to say something to her, and he's like, no, not candy or something like that. Me and my mate just cracked that. We were quoting that for years. Really fun film. Carancho. Haven't even heard of that one.
Can't say about that either.
Filth, which I'm a big fan of. No, you haven't seen it, have you?
No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, Filth's great. Very graphic though, I guess. Anyone who's put off by kind of copious amounts of sex and drugs in a film would be no point even attempting it really. But James McAvoy gives an amazing performance in it. It's just a shame that it is so graphic that not many people would want to watch it or would get put off as soon as they started watching it, I guess. Machete Kills, haven't seen that or the first one. Have you? You've either frozen or you just the connection's breaking up. Okay.
You've frozen on my screen. Oh no, you're back now. It's all good.
No, okay, we're both back now. There we go.
Yeah.
Did you say anything
Next
about
up,
the thing? No?
no, I haven't seen it. No.
Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah.
Dead Man's Shoes. I've seen that once, a very long time ago. I think it was on Film 4. Is it? I want to say Shane Meadows.
Yeah.
What, am I going to get my ass handed to me for that? Is it Shane
Yeah,
Meadows?
that's the director.
Yeah. I think I only caught like the last sort of half to the ending. I think it's basically about a brother who's trying to get revenge for his brother's death, taking down this gang. I think it was pretty violent from what I remember. But yeah, I think I remember enjoying what I saw. I'd like to see the whole thing though.
Yeah. Hopefully, well, we only got 2 viewers, but you kind of you spoiled a major twist in the film.
Oh shit!
But hopefully no one caught it. I mean, actually, a friend of mine kind of spoiled it too when he was telling me about it, and then like I watched it months later and actually forgot about the twist. So
I had no idea that was a spoiler.
yeah, like
I thought that was just like a general synopsis.
it's quite an interesting twist that it's probably a bit obvious actually, but for some reason when I first watched it, I just didn't even catch it, even though again someone had spoiled it to me before. Yeah, the ending is shocking, but great film. I just love the that classic scene where Paddy Considine's standing there and the guy gets out of the car and they have a little chat, and he's like, "You're fucking there, mate." It's a great little scene. Even the Rain. Not heard of that. Kick-Ass
Nope.
2.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed Kick-Ass 2.
Yeah, I don't understand the bad rap it got. I really enjoyed it. It was a good film.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
One of the creators of the comic book came out a couple of days ago and said that Jim Carrey's an asshole and stuff. He's like that. He's just like, I never want to work with him again. Because, of course, Jim Carrey was like, oh, well, this film glorifies violence, and I don't like that, so I'm not going to promote it. See ya. And then the film
I think it was after those school shootings, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think after all that came out.
But, like, his character in the film gives up weapons, you know, at one point, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So he could have even worked that into the whole, I don't know why he was so weird about it. Alright, final check on the YouTube page. Yeah, that's about it then. Alright, so we're going to close this out then. Thanks to a few people who did watch along. And I did send Forkable an invite, but he declined it, so I guess it's just not going to happen.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
Frozen.
Froze again. Oh, right. There's me talking. I don't even know if it came out. Okay, I was just saying thanks to the people who did watch and comment along. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Thanks for watching, everyone. Cheers, Matt. And yeah, that's about it. Nice one, guys.
Sorry for the spoilers.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine. Yeah, I was. It stopped.